Okay, Chapter 26, World War I and the Russian Revolution were the seeds of the Great Depression and World War II sown during the aftermath of World War I. So this very first section, the Great War begins. What was the most important cause of World War I? By the end of the chapter, I can describe how international rivalries, nationalism pushed Europe towards war, the role that the assassination in Sarajevo led to the start of World War I, and then the causes and the effects of the European alliance system that was in place. So, from the very beginning, alliances draw lines. What had kind of happened over the course of a period of about 30 years or so, when Germany emerges as a new country, one of the things that they're kind of worried about is that they're the new kid on the block, and that maybe they'll get kind of picked on by some of the other neighborhood kids a little bit. So they're looking for a way to kind of bolster their standing and get some buddies to help protect them if they ever do get picked on. And so Bismarck gets a hold of Italy, Austria-Hungary, and they create what's known as the Triple Alliance. And when we get into World War I, they'll be known as the Central Powers, minus Italy. But Germany and Austria-Hungary are going to be the core of the Central Powers. In response, the Triple Entente forms, and they're going to follow some of these common military and diplomatic policies. They're going to talk to each other, and they're going to formulate plans, and they're going to pretty much react to all things in basically the same way. And this is France, Russia, and Britain, and when World War I starts, they're going to be the Allies. So when we look at what is causing some of these increasing tensions, rivalries, and nationalism, some of that has to do with the current state of affairs. For example, with Germany, Great Britain fears Germany as this economic rival. For a long time, Great Britain was the economic powerhouse of the world, and now all of a sudden Germany has caught up and maybe surpassed Great Britain, and so this is going to create this tension between. For Germany, they're kind of fearful of Russia's potential. They have all kinds of resources, they have all kinds of people, and if you ever get someone in there that can get everything straightened out and get Russia industrialized, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So there's a lot of this going on. When you look at imperialism, these colonies that are all over the world has created lots of problems. So for example, the French and the Germans had been butting heads in Morocco for a long time. And so now what you have is not just events in Europe could drag Europe into war. You could have something that happens way off in Asia or Africa between two countries that's going to start a war. So this imperialism is just increasing the potential for problems astronomically, I guess. In response, what all these countries are doing is they're dumping all kinds of money into armies and navies, and they're creating an arms race. And so when you look at this chart, that's what you see, is from 1908 to 1912-13, just in the lead up to the war, you can see how these countries are building up their militaries. And there's this glorification of the military. This is militarism. They're turning it into some kind of a romantic ideal. And the other thing that's happening in these countries is each country believes that their military is going to kick the butt of every other military, and they're itching for a chance to prove themselves right. When you look at nationalism, this is going to factor in as well, because Germany is extremely proud of their new nation. They're extremely proud of how quickly they're able to emerge and industrialize and become kind of a dominant force on the European continent. When you look at France, France is really bitter about the fact that they lost the Alsace-Lorraine region to Germany in the Franco-Prussian War, and that bitterness is going to cause French people to resent the Germans and hate the Germans and be more proud of being France, and they're going to want that territory back. The other thing you see is Russia is supporting these Slavic peoples in the Austro-Hungarian Empire that are calling for an independent country. And then you have the Austro-Hungarian and the Ottoman empires that we've already talked about. They're these old empires. They have lots of different ethnic groups in them, lots of different religious groups in them, and all of these groups want to pull away and form their own country and become their own nation. And these two things, these two old empires, are going to hang on for dear life to try and prevent that from happening. So that sets the stage for what's going to happen in Sarajevo. So if you look at this map, you have Serbia, that is part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And Serbia wants its independence. And in order to kind of reach out to Serbia, the Archduke Ferdinand is going to visit Serbia on a goodwill mission, or at least that's his intent. The problem is there's a group of people within Serbia who dislike him and think that this is a slap in their face. And that's what's going to lead to the assassination. That's going to tick off Austria-Hungary. And they want revenge for the Serbians who killed the Archduke Ferdinand. And so what's going to happen here with Austria is Kaiser Wilhelm from Germany is going to tell Austria, you have to make Serbia understand that this is not cool and that you are going to deal with them harshly and you're not going to tolerate any of these shenanigans anymore, I guess. And so this blank check from Germany basically saying, whatever you do, Germany's got your back, and we will support you 110%. So Austria gives this ultimatum, this long list of demands that Serbia has to agree to. And Serbia agrees to the vast majority of these demands, just not all of them. And what they're trying to do is, well, they're trying to defend their independence, but they're also trying to work with Austria-Hungary as best they can. But because they didn't meet all the demands, Austria-Hungary is going to use this as an excuse to declare war and to punish Serbia. Russia and France step in and tell Austria-Hungary to take a chill pill, step back and relax. Ease off on Serbia. We'll work this thing out. Austria-Hungary says, heck to the no. We are going to go in there and we're going to teach Serbia a lesson. That causes Russia to begin to mobilize. They start to move their troops to the border near Austria-Hungary and in preparation to help defend Serbia if Serbia is attacked. And France is going to back Russia because of the alliances. And so these alliances are kicking in. In the meantime, Germany has come up with a plan to hopefully end this war quickly. It's called the von Stiefeln plan. They're going to take their army, they're going to go through the Ardennes forest in Belgium, which is here, and they're going to attack France from the backside, and they're going to knock France out of the war before Russia can even mobilize. And this is a pretty daring plan because the Ardennes forest is no easy task, and most people don't think it can be done. And so we'll pick up with their next section. So again, if we look at these main causes, militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. When you look at the reactions of the war, there's multiple reactions. For Great Britain and Russia, this is really a good time out for them from their own internal problems. Great Britain had been struggling with Ireland. Russia had been struggling ever since that 1905 massacre that took place. The Tsar of Russia had really been struggling. And so this is a way for the British and the Russians to come together and to unite for a common cause. For patriotism, you're going to see that all over. All of these places are going to call on the people to be patriotic. And so there's lots of young people who are eager to fight this war because of patriotism, but also because regardless of the side that they're on, they believe that they are fighting for the right reasons. They are fighting for justice. They are fighting for a better world. Whether you're a German young person or a French young person or a Russian young person, all of those people are idealistic and thinking that they're going to help create a better world if their side wins.